Who was Melchizedek? All we know about Melchizedek from the Hebrew Bible is from Genesis 14:18 through 20, which says, "And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Now he was a priest of God Most High. He blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And he gave him a tenth of all." This is all we know about this mysterious priest called Melchizedek from the Hebrew Scriptures. The pulpit commentary says, King of Salem means King of Peace in Hebrews 7:1. The capital of Melchizedek was either Jerusalem, of which the ancient name was Salem, as in Psalm 76:2, or a city on the other side of Jordan, which is most unlikely. Since there was no city other than Jerusalem called Salem, we know that Melchizedek was either called a king and priest of Salem because he was a king and priest of the ancient Canaanite city of Jerusalem called Salem, or he was a heavenly king and priest of the heavenly Jerusalem, which inspired scripture calls the Jerusalem above, in Galatians 4:25-26, the heavenly Jerusalem. Galatians 4:25 says, "Now this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and corresponds to the present Jerusalem, for she is in slavery with her children. But the Jerusalem above is free, she is our mother." The scriptural evidence proves that Melchizedek could not have been a king and priest over the ancient Canaanite city of Jerusalem, because the ancient inhabitants of Jerusalem were clearly pagan. There are 5 Bible facts about Melchizedek in Scripture. Fact 1, Melchizedek is not Jesus. Melchizedek could not be God as a pre-incarnate priest of the Most High God. Hebrews 7:1 clearly states, "For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him." If Jesus is the same person as Melchizedek, how could Melchizedek be the priest of the Most High God and still be that God prior to the incarnation? Fact 2, Melchizedek could not have been a man because he had no parents, nor did he ever die. Hebrews 7:2 and 3 says, "To whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God." The Greek word for like means similar, made similar unto the Son of God, abides a priest continually. Melchizedek was made like or similar to the Son of God to abide as a priest continually. Could God have been made prior to the incarnation? Certainly not. Unlike Melchizedek, Jesus had a biological descent from his human mother. But Melchizedek had no father or mother, nor did he ever die, no end of life, because he was never a mortal priest. The scripture says, having neither beginning of days nor end of life. Hebrews 7:3 clearly states that Melchizedek was made like or similar unto the Son of God. Yet the same verse says that Melchizedek had no beginning of days. Since inspired scripture could not contradict itself, we know that Melchizedek was made before the beginning of days in Genesis chapter 1. Genesis 1:5 says, "And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day." Wherefore, since the book of Genesis indicates that the angels were created before Genesis chapter 1, Melchizedek had to have been made like or similar to the Son of God as an angel before the Genesis act of creation. Fact 3. Melchizedek still lives in heaven because he never died. Hebrews 7:4 clearly says, "Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoils. And here men that die receive tithes, but there he, Melchizedek, receives them, of whom it is witnessed that he lives." According to the book of Hebrews, Melchizedek still lives in heaven as an angelic priest who receives tithes. The writer of Hebrews made a distinction between mortal men on earth who die and Melchizedek up in heaven who never died. Since the book of Hebrews was written during the New Covenant dispensation of grace, we know that God is receiving or recording our tithes in heaven through Melchizedek as an angelic priest of the Most High God. Fact 4. Melchizedek could not be Jesus because Jesus is called another priest. Hebrews 7:15 clearly says, "And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek there arises another priest." Since Jesus is called another priest, he cannot be the same individual as Melchizedek. Fact 5. Jesus is similar to Melchizedek because both Jesus and Melchizedek were made to be kings and priests forever. Hebrews 7:2-3 says, "To whom also Abraham gave a tenth of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like or similar unto the Son of God, abides a priest continually." Hebrews 7:16-17 says, "Who is made," the context proves that Jesus was made, "not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. For he testifies, you are a priest after the order of Melchizedek." Jesus is a priest after the order of Melchizedek, an angelic order of heavenly priesthood. These 5 scriptural facts prove that Melchizedek was a heavenly high priest of the Most High God before Jesus was born to become a priest. Fact 2, Melchizedek could not have been a mere mortal man because he had no parents, nor did he ever die. Fact 3, Melchizedek has always lived in heaven as a heavenly high priest who receives tithes even now. Fact 4, Melchizedek could not be the same person as Jesus Christ because Scripture calls Christ another priest. And fact 5, Melchizedek is similar to Jesus because he is a heavenly king and heavenly high priest who was created to have an enduring priesthood. Since the non-canonical Dead Sea Scrolls, dated to the 1st century, mentions Melchizedek as a heavenly high priest, it seems likely that the Hebrews would have had some idea about the identity of the person called Melchizedek. James R. Davila, a Hebrew scholar, wrote an interesting article about the Dead Sea Scrolls online entitled "Melchizedek, Michael, and War in Heaven," in which he identified Melchizedek in the scroll entitled "The Songs of the Sabbath Sacrifice" as being one of the angelic beings in the heavenly temple. And I'm quoting from Mr. James R. Davila, Dr. Davila. "Such, I propose, was the structure of Song 5 of the Songs of the Sabbath Sacrifice. It describes the ordination of the angelic beings in the heavenly temple, presumably including Melchizedek." So here we find James R. Davila, a doctor and language expert who studied the Dead Sea Scrolls. He said that Melchizedek was listed in the Dead Sea Scrolls as some sort of a heavenly angelic priest. Wherefore, the internal evidence within Scripture and from the Dead Sea Scrolls identifies Melchizedek as a leading angelic priest who appeared to Abraham in the Hebrew Bible. For more videos like this one, subscribe to our YouTube channel or visit us on the web at apostolic christian faith.com.